covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
New developments for the man accused of setting Chico's Bidwell mansion on fire. We'll tell you about the plea he made today in court. Plus, new at 6, we take you inside a Red Bluff home flooded by the recent storms. Also new at 6, a Thermalito neighborhood was almost left stranded and cut off from their homes after a chunk of road broke away. Right now, there is a break in the storm, but it's not over.
And we still have that team coverage of last night's storm aftermath with Margot Rowe live in Paradise, Matthew Kerr-Wilson in Chico. But first, Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon joins us now. Howie, you're tracking more rain, more snow headed in. When can we expect that?
Probably the late night hours.
Okay.
And I would say you'd probably call it the morning hours, because it should be during the early morning hours of Thursday when most of this activity returns. I'm not expecting it to be as heavy as what we had unless you're in the higher foothills or the mountains, where I'm going to show you throughout the course in the next 15 to 20 minutes when I show some of the other data. But for now, we have the flood warning still in place. Creeks, rivers, streams took on a lot of water. Now, here's a look at the radar. And what I was just trying to elaborate on a second ago, the storm, as it spins counterclockwise, it's going to bring some of that moisture up from the south. And as it gets pushed up to higher elevations, we'll see some of the heavier rain and the snow, where the valley not going to see that as heavy as a downpour as what we had with our last few plumes. But we'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit, Haley.
All right, thanks, Howie. Our storm team coverage continues in just a moment. But first, the man who set the Bidwell mansion on fire pleaded no contest.
We were in court this morning. Kevin Carlson admitted to destroying the iconic building back on December 11th.
It's on. No contest, sir. We also admit the enhancement.
In addition to the arson, Carlson acknowledged using gasoline, which adds 5 years to his sentence.
Tons of evidence. We spent the last few weeks going over it with him in detail, playing all the video for him, discussing all the ins and outs of the case, all the possibilities, and ultimately he was convinced that he would not prevail at a jury trial.
Carlson faces up to 11 years in prison when he's sentenced March 5th. Now, if this had happened, by the way, just a few days later, Carlson could have received an additional 14 years under the newly passed Prop 36, which adds more time caused by excessive damage.
And we continue our team coverage of severe weather with Matthew Kerr-Wilson live just north of Chico along the Rock Creek area. What's the situation, Matthew?
Well, Haley, as you can see, we just had a truck come through the bridge. The water is still moving pretty strongly. I don't know if you could see it that well, but it is moving. But this area was actually grass just a day before. But now, as you can see, it's just completely turned to mud and rubble. And I rode around with Tim and Donna White today. And, Tim and Donna White, they drove me through the property, and the scale, the magnitude even, the large, multiple homes are damaged, flooded. They're going to have to be stripped. And it's actually not the first time this has happened in this area. Just 3 months ago, a similar situation occurred, but with a flash flood. And Tim and Donna White lost 2 of their beloved donkeys. It was devastating.
A couple of the farmer rancher neighbors brought their D6 cats in, and they just went back and forth across the creek, pushing the brush out, and that's right by the bridge and above it, and we didn't have any problem for years. It's never happened again, so it has all the brush growing in it. Consequently, everything backs up and everything overflows the banks.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened here. Everything is backed up. Everything overflows through the banks. And Tim talked about the frustration with the efforts to clean up the area and the debris. And, of course, as water floods, more and more debris collects. And so it's really important to get that debris out of there so it doesn't affect these areas that I'm standing in right now. So from Chico, I'm Matthew Kerr-Wilson, Action News Now.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Now, we took these concerns to Butte County Supervisor Peter Durfee, who says he looked into it. About 95% of Rock Creek and Kiefer Slough is private property, so the county just doesn't have jurisdiction to do anything. Durfee says that the county did a study last year to look at solutions. The price would be astronomical, and even if the county wanted to pay for changes there to Rock Creek, there's still a chance that landowners could say no.
Now let's go to Paradise, where the town had its moments of flooded roads from yesterday's weather. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe is there live along Elliott Road, where part of that road was underwater. Margot, how's it looking tonight?
Alan, it is pretty much cleared up. I know it's a little hard to see behind me. I'm hoping a car will drive by at this moment, but the road is completely dry with just some water on the shoulder here. Now, just to give you an idea of what it looked like last night, take a look at your screen here. And this video is from Chelsea Smith. Now, from what I've noticed, there's a little runoff in this area, and from the looks of it, the drainage just couldn't comprehend the amount of water coming down yesterday. But that's not the case for today. Town Mayor Steve Crowder told me parts of Elliott and Billy Road see pockets of flooding with this type of weather, but typically it's nothing too severe, and it's the wind and the trees that can cause significant damage. But from what I've seen out here tonight, drivers seem to have no problem going over this part of the road, and for the rest of the evening as well. Reporting live in Paradise, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
Thank you, Margot. And you can be a part of the Action News Now team as a citizen journalist. That video that we just saw is an example. Just send your videos that you might capture of news. We'll put it on TV if it's something we can put on TV and give you credit, of course. Just find the Citizen Journalism banner on our homepage, actionnewsnow.com.
Because of flooding, Glenn County Office of Education says some of the school districts will be closed tomorrow. The county says this includes Orland Unified, Willows Unified, and Hamilton Unified, just to name a few. The county says Stony Creek Joint Unified, Walden Academy, and Princeton Joint Unified will be open tomorrow.
Severe flooding is also taking a toll on people living at the Willows RV Park. We went there today, and neighbors say they're used to flooding, but this was worse. People who parked in the front portion of the park saw the worst of it. Flooded streets caused stress even for those whose homes stayed dry.
I went in to pick up my daughter last night, and the water right here where it curves around and right here by this first trailer here was so deep I couldn't even see the road. It's something I haven't experienced before, and I thought it was going to come in. I didn't think you could just hear the rushing of the water. It was really bad.
Bradford also says many of her neighbors are elderly with mobility issues. We did reach out to the management about the lack of drainage, and we're still working to get an answer. There are over 20 evacuation warnings along the Sacramento River in Tehama County for potential flooding still in place, and we have a link to all those zones. Just find this story on our website. The Sacramento River is also expected to crest at 216 feet at the Tehama Bridge tonight, which is moderate flood stage. It's not far downstream. Flooding has also shut down South Avenue, which crosses the Woodson Bridge. We are working to find out when the road will be back open there.
New at 6, people in Thermalito were trapped at home today after floodwaters took out a huge chunk of road we just had. There it is. Take a look at that. This is Middlehoff Lane in Thermalito, just south of Oroville. And Action News Now reporter Nathan Espindula shows us what Butte County has planned to help these people out.
I can't get out right now. You're stuck. Yeah, my car's over on that side. I just walked over past the gap, and I really don't have a way to get out. I don't have anywhere I have to be right now, but I would like to go somewhere probably within the next week or so.
People who live across Middlehoff Lane in Thermalito say they spotted what appears to be a huge crater late last night. With no other official roads leading in or out, nearly a dozen families were unable to go to work, go to school, or even go grocery shopping today.
And as you can see, the hole is pretty big. You can even sit in it, and a car can definitely not get through it. And that means that for the 11 houses on that side, it is impossible to get to this side.
A few of them have health issues, or anywhere between the ages of 65 and 85 years old. That's my main concern right there, because right now, if they had an issue, EMS would not be able to get to them properly.
People who live here were worried that they would have to pay for the damage themselves, thinking Middelhoff may be a private road. I called the County Public Works Director, Joshua Pack. He told me that the exact spot where the erosion happened is actually in county jurisdiction, so he will be sending crews in the next couple of days to get some work in.
So it's their problem by rights. They should have to fix it. They're pushing it up, trying to pass it on down the line, pass the buck to see if they can get these people to pay. And they shouldn't have to pay. They got to get out though, don't they? They got to get medical. Like Jeff's wife's not feeling too good, things like that. If something happens, how are they going to get in here?
In Thermalito, I'm Nathan Espindula for Action News Now.
And that last man you heard from, he was pretty frustrated, but it does turn out that the county is working to fix the damage. The Public Works Director told us that doing so will cost $50,000 to $75,000, and they expect to have it done in 2 to 3 days. New at 6, take a look at this. A Red Bluff home facing riverbank woes. We show you the damage inside.
Plus, a busted pipe creates a flood emergency. We'll show you the costly effort to repair the damage ahead of more coming rain.